Hi, I'm Marisa Sako with Three's Physio Yoga Method. This is our Flow When You Can't Go class, aka the poo class. Now, this is the first time I've taught a class where I am hoping that you can't finish class. And by that I mean, I hope that it is so effective that you need to get up and use the bathroom. Okay. But by all means, if you want to continue class, hit pause, go do what you need to do, come back, join me again. But also, like, if this takes care of your needs, maybe you look through the threes library and see like if there's something else you'd like to do. So this class could actually be used in a number of different ways. Maybe it is a one-off practice. Maybe your digestive system typically has a timetable that rivals that of the Swiss railway system, but you're traveling, things got a little off, and now you're kind of stuck. Or maybe your digestive system typically is a little bit more like that of the New York City MTA subway system, experiencing delays all the time. If that's the case for you, this could be used preemptively. You might use it at night before you go to bed, and then like do some of the moves again in the morning to get things going. In other words, this is a great class when like coffee is just not enough. That said, I have been working in my college's acupuncture clinic for the past few years, and I've gotten very comfortable talking about things like bowel movements. But I've discovered in communicating with patients that um, maintaining the same kind of eye contact that I would maintain when talking about shoulder pain, when talking about bowel movements, sometimes is intrusive or awkward. So let's come down to our backs while we continue this discussion. But before you come down to your back, grab two blocks and just place them somewhere near the top of your mat. You're not going to need them right now, but set them up for later and come on down. You'll have your knees bent, soles of the feet on the floor to start. We're going to do this very, very, very simply. And bring your knees into your chest. You're just going to cup your hands over the fronts of your knees. Press your knees forward into your hands. Take a breath in. Think of expanding the whole rib cage. Expand the belly. And then as you breathe out, hug the knees in, bending your elbows, kind of smushing the fronts of your thighs into your abdomen. And then inhale, move the knees away, expand as fully as you can. Exhale as you pull the knees back in. So I'm going to have you move at your own pace, just keeping your breath really full, really deep. And what I am going to just suggest is that if you tend to become more irregular with stressful periods of your life, start to pay attention to how you're breathing. Is it getting stuck? Is it getting shallow? Do you feel expansion? Can you visualize the diaphragm moving up and down as you breathe? Okay. And then the next thing I'm going to have you do is make circles with your knees. So the knees stay together, and it's like you're taking the two knees and just tracing a circle in the air. And the knees also are going to move away from you and then in close, but they're also going side to side. So you're hitting all points. And you can also feel like this is a little bit of a massage on your lower back. Keep circling for a moment. In Chinese medicine school, studying acupuncture, one thing that they talk about in the theory is that the lungs and the large intestine are a yin-yang pair. So all organs are set into yin-yang pairs. And I'm not that kind of student where I'm like, okay, cool, they're a yin-yang pair. I was like, but why? So go ahead and circle the other way now. So reverse the circling. The reason why they're a yin-yang pair, at least this is my take on it, is if you think about the diaphragm, like the Taiji symbol, like what we often call in the West the yin yang symbol, the black and white symbol with the wavy line in the middle and the two dots. Okay. Think of the diaphragm as that wavy line in the middle, and your lungs sit on top, and your large intestine sits below the diaphragm. If you are breathing diaphragmatically, now hug the knees in, bring your feet down to the floor, and bring your feet about as wide as your mat. Let your knees knock in. Cactus your arms out to the sides or tee them. Start to windshield wiper your knees side to side, and I'll keep talking to you as you do this. So if you are breathing really fully you're getting diaphragmatic excursion, meaning your diaphragm is moving down below like the rim, that bottom rim of your rib cage. And the excursion it's making is into your abdominal cavity, right? So it's smushing down on your abdominal contents, meaning when you take a really deep breath in, it's like your lungs are acting as this like pump on your large intestine, right? And then when you breathe out, your diaphragm moves up, and then your abdominal contents kind of rise back up, right? So that's what's happening there. So then it makes sense. Lungs and large intestines are yin yang paired organs because of that movement. Cool. So as you're doing this windshield wiper movement, maybe you can link it up so you're inhaling to one side and exhaling to the other. So we're getting that pumping action happening with the breath. And this could be, I mean, there's so many factors to this, but one of the factors to why some of us might get kind of stopped up when we're stressed is maybe we're not breathing as deeply. Something to pay attention to, a little bit of troubleshooting. All right, so now bring your knees back to center, and then you're going to bring your feet back in so the knees are still bent, soles of the feet are still on the floor, and your feet will just be about hip distance apart. You're just going to like thump your sacrum against the floor, just like bouncing it. So it's kind of quick and light. It's almost like if you were dribbling a basketball, just like an inch off the ground. And if you're not sure, you can just take a look at the screen and see what I'm doing. And we're just sending a little bit of vibration through the abdominal cavity by thumping the sacrum against the floor. And it shouldn't hurt. If it hurts, don't do it. I mean, that's a rule for everything, right? Okay. And then just stop. All right. Hug your knees into your chest once again. And you're going to roll onto your right side. Keep the right knee bent. And you can make like a little pillow with your bent arm. Or what would be even nicer is grab a block. And you can place that under the side of your head. Just make sure it's like above your ear. Otherwise, you'll be smushing your ear into the block, and that's no fun. So bottom knee bent, top leg straight, top hand on the top hip, the side of your pelvis. So as you breathe out, draw that top knee into your chest. And then as you breathe in, move it away, almost like you're kicking a little bit behind you, but not so much that you come into like a deep, deep arch in your low back. Breathe out, draw the knee in. There's a little bit of a spinal flexion, cat spine happening, just a little bit. And then breathe in as you move the knee away, just the tiniest hint of cow pose in the spine. Breathe out, draw the knee in. Breathe in, move the knee away. Breathe out, draw the knee in again. Breathe in as you kick the foot away. And then you're just going to switch to the other side. And you can just roll over, but I'm going to flip ends just so I'm not facing away from you. Position your head on the block. Bottom knee will be bent. Top leg straight. Top hand can come onto the side of the pelvis. And then breathe out as you draw the knee in toward your chest. Breathe in as you kick the foot away. Breathe out, draw the knee in. Breathe in, extend the leg away. Breathe out, draw the knee in toward your chest. Breathe in as you extend back. One more time, breathe out, curl into yourself. And breathe in as you extend the leg back. Great. Bring knee over knee once more. And then you're going to come on up. And you can just bring that block back to the top of the mat. I'm going to take a sip of water. In fact, if you have water, go for it. People always talk about fiber, fiber, fiber. Make sure you're hydrating too. Make sure you're getting enough fat in your diet as well, right? Because fiber is great, but you also need some like lubrication in there. So olive oil, avocados, coconut oil, all that stuff is good too. And last thing, we're gonna hug the knees into the chest. Just rock a little bit side to side for a moment. Pay attention to your breath. Try to keep it really deep and full the whole time. I can't because I'm talking to you. You get the picture. And then come back to center. And then you're going to rock and roll forward and back. Unless that doesn't feel good for your back, then you can roll to your side and help yourself up. And then keep rocking and rolling until you can rock up to sit. And then just help yourself up to stand. Separate your feet about as wide as your mat. Actually, go even wider. So your feet will be off of your mat. And then bend your knees and let yourself hang for a moment. Give your head a little toggle. Give your shoulders a little shimmy. And then as you breathe in, come up onto fingertips, find a flat back. Keep your knees bent. Turn your toes out, heels in a little bit, okay? And then climb your hands up toward your inner thighs. And then see if it's possible to straighten the elbows, like you're pressing the thighs back. And as you straighten the elbows, the shoulders might even shrug to the ears. You might even feel your elbows lock out if you've got hyperextended elbows. If it's not painful, it's not a big deal. Usually hyperextended elbows offend people's eyes more than they offend your actual body. So take a breath in here. As you breathe out, dip your right shoulder down and look to the left. And then inhale, come back to center. Exhale, dip the left shoulder down and look right. Inhale, back to center. One more time each side. Exhale, right shoulder down, look left. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, left shoulder down and look right. Inhale, back to center. And then bring your fingertips to the floor once again. Heel toe your feet in just so they're about the width of your mat. Let yourself hang. You can soften your knees. Keep the knees soft. Take a big inhale. And then as you exhale, you're going to slowly roll up one vertebra at a time. So think chin to chest. Let your shoulders just be loose. Think tailbone getting tugged down. And then stacking the lumbar vertebrae on top of the sacrum, stacking your mid-spine, upper back, and then each vertebra of your neck. And then just let your head balance right on top. Okay, so you're in this wide stance. That's cool. You can keep yourself in this wide stance. And take a big inhale, sweep the arms up. And then as you exhale, circle the arms down and fold over your wide-legged stance. Breathe in, bend your knees, fingertips to the floor, like right between your toes. Breathe out, step the left foot back, and you're going to be on the balls of that left foot in a wide lunge. On your next inhalation, tap the back knee down. Look forward, broaden across your collarbones. And now as you exhale, lift the back knee, straighten the front knee, and fold to the inside of the front leg. If you need your blocks, you could grab your blocks and have that inside that front foot. As you breathe in, bend both knees, tap the back knee down, look forward, open across your collarbones. Exhale, straighten and fold. Breathe in, bend the front knee, softly lower the back knee, open across the collarbones. Exhale, straighten and fold. As you inhale, rebend the front knee. You can move those blocks out of the way if you don't need them. Plant the palms. Exhale, step yourself back to down dog. As you breathe in, come forward into a plank pose. As you breathe out, slowly lower yourself down, and that could be either knees first or all in one piece. Now, bend both knees, okay? And just scoop the low belly in a little bit just to protect your low back. It doesn't have to be a big aggressive crunch in the stomach, but just a little scoop. And then just windshield wiper the knees side to side. And then as long as your lower back feels safe with that, then relax the belly And then just place your forehead on your hands at the front of the mat so you can relax your neck. And as you relax your belly and your knees go side to side, just allow your stomach to soften on your mat. Okay, and then come back to center. Untuck the toes as you press the tops of the feet down. Replace your hands on the mat next to the sides of the ribs. Inhale, come into a low cobra. And then as you exhale, come on back into child's pose. As you breathe in, bring your arms back alongside your shins. Breathe out, slowly roll up one vertebra at a time. And then tent your fingertips on the mat behind the toes, quite a bit back, like almost like a foot or more, 20 centimeters or more behind the toes. First, breathe in, puff up the chest with your sit bones on your heels. Now, just lift the sit bones about 1/2 inch. As you breathe out, swing your tailbone forward so you've got lots of space in your sacrum and low back. And then on the next inhalation, lift the pelvis, but keep your neck neutral so you're not letting the head fall back. Breathe out, gently let the pelvis drop down. Breathe in as you lift up. Breathe out as you lower the sit bones. Breathe in, lift the sit bones. Breathe out, lower. Last one, breathe in, lift. Breathe out, lower. And then come back onto hands and knees. Tuck your toes. Exhale back to down dog. So take a moment in down dog, pedal out through the feet, bend one knee, then the other, sink one heel and then the other. As you're bending the knees, bend them deep enough that you feel like your thigh makes firm contact with your abdomen. Okay. And then come back to center, or I should say even out the legs. You were centered, hopefully. And then on your next inhalation, lift your right leg to down dog split. As you exhale, slowly open the hip and bend the knee. Breathe in, re-lengthen the legs, square your hips off. Now, as you breathe out, you're going to step to the outside of your right hand. So we're coming into that wide lunge once again. Breathe in, lift the right arm up. And then breathe out, circle the right hand down. Come to fingertips, inhale, step the left foot to the outside of the left hand, so we're in that wide stance. And breathe out, drop your head. Take an inhale as you soften the knees. Exhale, round up, so think chin to chest. Tailbone drops, stack each component of the spine up sequentially. The head will be the last thing to arrive. Inhale, circle the arms out and up. Exhale, fold forward once again. Breathe in, bend your knees, come to fingertips. This time breathe out, step the right foot back. So you're in a wide lunge with the left foot outside the left hand. Inhale, tap the back knee down. You could always set up with blocks here. Exhale, straighten both legs and fold to the inside of that front leg. Inhale, bend both knees. Collarbones are wide as you look forward. Exhale, straighten and fold. Last one, breathe in, bend both knees, look forward, open across your chest. And breathe out as you straighten and fold. Now as you inhale, bend your front knee, plant your palms. Exhale back to down dog. Take an inhale, come forward into plank. We're going to do something a little different this time. As you exhale, you're going to swivel on the balls of the feet. So it's like your heels are pointing to the right. Bend your knees. Your knees are pointing left. Hips are going left. It's like an accordion pleat. As you pull your hips back in space, look forward between your hands. If you're confused, just look at me for a second. And then inhale, come back out to plank, swiveling on the balls of the feet. Exhale, swivel on the balls of the feet. Heels left, knees right. Look forward between your hands as you pull your hips back. Inhale, back out to plank. Exhale, heels right, knees left. Pull the hips back, look forward. Inhale out to plank. Exhale, heels left, knees right, look forward. Inhale out to plank. One more time each side. Exhale, heels right, knees left, look forward. Inhale, plank. Last one, heels left, knees right. Pull the hips back. Exhale, plank. Now as you exhale, slowly lower down. As you breathe in, come into a low cobra. Breathe out, come on back. Child's pose. Inhale, bring your arms back alongside your shins. Exhale, roll up to sit. Okay. A little different this time. Tent your left fingertips a foot, 20 centimeters behind the toes approximately. As you think of trying to lift your sit bones up, lengthen your tailbone, like you're reaching your tailbone toward the back, so the space between your knees. On the next breath in, lift the right arm up. Look over your left shoulder, but keep trying to lift the left sit bone. Exhale, land the sit bones down. Bring the right fingertips behind you, left arm up. Inhale, lift the hips. Look over the right shoulder. Try to lift the right sit bone a little higher. Exhale, lower the hips. One more time each side. Left fingertips down, right arm up. Lift the hips. Look over the left shoulder and try to lift the left sit bone away from the left heel. Exhale down, right fingertips down. Inhale, lift the hips. Look over the right shoulder. Exhale. Great. Hands come down to the floor. Tuck the toes. As you come on back to down dog, reach back through the sit bones, sink the heels, gently bend one knee and then the other once again. Again, thinking about thighs making contact with the belly. Good, and then settle into both feet, sinking the heels, even out through both hands. And on your next inhalation, lift the left leg into down dog split. Exhale, slowly open the hip and bend the knee. Breathe in as you re-lengthen your leg, square off your hips. And then breathe out, step your left foot to the outside of your left hand. And then as you inhale, lift the left arm, take a twist in your wide lunge. Exhale, circle the left hand down, come up onto fingertips of both hands. Inhale, step the right foot to the outside of the right hand. Listen, take your two blocks that you had set up at the front of the mat. This is what they were for. Pass them through that space between the feet and have the front edge of them just a little behind the heel. So if you drew a line from heel to heel, the blocks would be behind that line. And then bring your sit bones down onto that block to come into an upright squat. All right. Pause here for a moment. If you need a sip of water like I do, go for it. Again, hydration, so good for the digestive system. And you can either just rest your arms on your knees or bring them to the inner knees. I'm just going to keep this really restful in the upper body for myself, but see what feels best for you. Check out what's going on in the feet. Do they need to be turned out a little bit to match your knees or turned in a little bit? But see if you can ground through the tripod of each foot. And then notice what's going on in the pelvis. Does it feel like it's tipping forward and the lower back is shortening and the low belly is spilling forward? Or does it feel like the opposite, like you're sitting back on your tailbone and clenching in the low belly and starting to round in the back? Can you find that middle ground, that more neutral place? And then just let your eyes close and feel your breath. Keep the breath moving steadily in and out through the nose. And bring your awareness to that bottom rim of your rib cage, right? Like the mouth of the rib cage. And visualize the diaphragm. It's kind of like a trampoline. Think about that trampoline moving in slow motion. So when you breathe in, that trampoline moves downward and presses on your abdominal contents, which is why your abdomen is going to swell and get bigger. And then when you breathe out, that diaphragm moves upward which is then going to pull the abdominal contents back toward the spine and upward, which is why it feels like your waist gets smaller on the exhale. Continue to move with that. Keep your awareness on that pumping action, right? So as the lungs fill and empty, they are causing the diaphragm to sort of pump the large intestine. And yes, there are many other actions that happen in the largest intestine that help things along. There's peristalsis, blah, blah, blah. But this can help it along, right? It's so nice to think of them as that yin-yang pair, that they work together. Good. And then hold on to your knees. Breathe in, think of opening across your chest, and there is now a little bit of extension in the back, a little bit of a back bend. And then as you exhale, think of pulling the navel and the sternum back, tipping the pubic bone up. Inhale, chest forward, tailbone back. Exhale, tailbone tucks, chest becomes concave. One more time, breathe in, sternum forward, shoulder blades retract. Breathe out, shoulder blades protract like they're sliding off the back as you draw the navel and sternum in. And then inhale, just come back to neutral. And then as you exhale, heel toe your feet in about hip width. Fingertips can come forward. As you lift your sit bones off the blocks, drop your head, you're in Uttanasana. And then bend the knees and slowly round up one vertebra at a time. Okay. Have a sip of water. Maybe make a plan to eat something with some healthy fat in it today if you weren't already intending to do that. If you don't have, some people are into the squatty potty, which it's like a stool that was designed to go in front of your toilet. If you don't have one of those, you could stack up blocks. If you have a child who uses a step stool in the bathroom, just pull that over to your toilet, elevating your feet higher, so your knees are higher than your pelvis, kind of like the squat we were just in, is going to be so helpful. Just to kind of get everything stacked up nicely and to allow that movement of the diaphragm to help everything out. I hope this was helpful. I hope some people didn't make it through the class and had to take care of business. And again, as I said at the beginning of class, this could be something that you use preemptively if this is something that you are dealing with on the regular or irregular, or this might be like just something that saves you when you're traveling or when you get out of your routine, and keep these practices in your back pocket for when that happens. I hope this was useful, and be well. Thanks for practicing with me.